Hello everyone, hello, how are you all? Hello guys and girls, it's Alex here. Right, so today, I want to make this video about the idea that you have no choice, right? And this will be pertaining to musicians, right? So I'm not going to be speaking about anything nebulous such as creatives or blah 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 blah. We're talking about musicians today because I'm a musician and so are you. If you're watching this, maybe. I don't know, maybe you're not, but anyway. Right, so the reason I'm talking about you have no choice as a musician is because I'm kind of want to reflect back a bit through what I've kind of been through recently. And that was a kind of a denial of myself, you know? So I've been doing music for about 20 plus years, and naturally in that period of time I've been through lots of ups and downs and lots of kind of adventures and whatnot. But in the past couple of years I've been kind of like just doing therapy, and when I first started doing it, it was quite intense. Well, not intense, but like it was every week or whatever, or every 2 weeks, and then it slowly kind of whittled it down just to one session a month. And I'm at that point where it's like I think I've kind of finally started to come to the end of really needing it, although some people say it's never ending, you know. Anyway, that's all debatable. But long story short, I went through this kind of phase in the past few years where I think I had certain situations which have really kind of let me down, or like really made me kind of just feel kind of like down about my kind of musical career. And I started to like wonder to myself, like, you know, shall I just channel my kind of creative energy into other pursuits, like exclusively? So in terms of, like, say, video production and, you know, editing and maybe a bit of kind of motion graphics and whatnot. And also I do, like, you know, I like to do kind of art, like kind of oil paintings and stuff. And I kind of thought to myself, you know what, like, this musical situation, it's like, because obviously in this kind of society you need money, and music's quite a hard thing to make money from, depending like on who you know and whatnot. Obviously, you know, you can be very well situated and you can be having a very good time, but, you know, generally for the most of us it's quite a slog. And I kind of started to think to myself, like, you know what, I tried to look at it from this kind of like esoteric and mathematical kind of way, like if I kind of, you know, block this kind of dam, you know, I've talked about this in previous videos, this energetic dam, then that kind of energy could flow through other kind of mediums of expression. But I just came to the realization that, nah man, like, no matter how hard you try, you know, if you're a musical person, it's not going to leave you. You know, the spirit of music is not going to leave you. Now, obviously, you know, you got my guy, I think it was Socrates. Was it Socrates? Maybe another one, but it might have been Socrates, who talked about, you know, the daemon, like a musical person, for example. You know, his kind of idea was that we were born with a daemon kind of attached to us, you know, which is kind of sounds a little bit creepy, but the idea is that, you know, throughout our life we are kind of, you know, influenced by this daemon in terms of creativity, or, you know, in this kind of instance, music. So maybe like one should kind of accept the fact that, you know, whether that's kind of like an analogy or a real thing, you know, I think looking at it from an analogy standpoint, I think we need to just kind of accept that throughout our life we will be musical people. And I think one way to kind of cope with this is, although it's kind of music, especially in the kind of the Western world, generally tends to be quite conflated with industry success. As the years have kind of gone by, and as I've gone through my little ups and downs and my trials and my kind of my beat down, so to speak, I started to really realize that music is just something you're always going to do, and you have to accept it. You know, you can't escape it, man. You can't escape it. You know, it's I think going forward, especially in this time of like AI, I mean, listen man, just fuck AI, alright, at this point. But obviously, you know, it's going to cause some shake-ups, and I know a lot of people are going to lose faith in their journey, because, you know, you got some guy who's just going to type a prompt and who's just going to flood the internet, and I'm sure there's many people like that doing that right now. But, you know, I think it's time now just to use this all as a kind of a stepping stone to kind of recontextualize what we do, why we do it, who we do it with. And I started to just, you know, really just realize, man, that, look, listen man, you're in it for the long haul. Like, you have to do music to some capacity, no matter if you like it or not. Like literally, you have no choice. Yeah. So I think, for me personally, going forward, I'm thinking to myself like I'm gonna kind of just keep on doing my music, but I think more just now from an artistic standpoint, in the sense that I'm just gonna kind of express my own inner life and my own journey. And that's not to say that when I do different projects and stuff, I haven't kind of put my twist on it. But like, say for example, my YouTube channel, I've got like funky beats, I've got like orchestral beats, I've got sci-fi beats and everything. I love making all these genres, but I've come to this point where I'm gonna just basically express my vision, even if it gets 20 likes. You know what I mean? So it's really not about the views or the popularity or anything, man. It's about expressing yourself, because you have to do it, man. You have to do it. You have to build your soul, you know, which I've talked about in other videos, but it is a form of like building your soul, medicating your soul perhaps, but it's kind of, some might say, you know, we're dealt a bad card in this life. You know, you can look at it, you know, two different kind of ways, but at the same time, being a musical person, we are granted kind of like insights and highs that that like no other kind of regular normal human activity really creates, in my opinion. You know, it's kind of unparalleled. I mean, okay, obviously, I don't know, maybe you got rock climbing or something, but generally when you're in the act of creating the music, it's about the kind of the insights, you know, you get from the process, the kind of which I think is just very unique to the musical process. Like what kind of goes on in your mind when you're creating. If there's some, it's an incredible thing, like how it makes you feel, and it really just does build you as a person. So yeah, I think from that side of from that standpoint, you just kind of got to keep on going. So yeah, I think really in the time of AI now, man, it's like, yeah, you've really got to kind of just think about kind of like why you're doing this, and not even think about why you're doing this, but it's like, you know, you have no choice. You have to keep on doing it. You know, are you going to stop doing music because some of these assholes are making this technology to try and, you know, replace you and stamp you out? No way, man. Fuck that. You know, fuck that. For real. Like, do what you do. This is your sole purpose, man. You know, if you are a musician, in the extent that you're not just some guy who's kind of played around with it a bit when you're younger, maybe you play around the guitar every 6 months. If you know this is who you are, you know, then you just got to keep going, man. Because it's not about the outcome. It's not about the outcome. It's about the process, you know. And I know it's a tough one. It's a tough pill to swallow, and I struggle with it as well, you know, because we have grown up in this kind of society where it's, especially with like music, it's always very conflated with kind of like the industry, and, you know, will I be popular, or will I earn money, and da 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 da. But really, music is so much deeper than that, man. It's so much deeper than that. It's such an integral part of just existing on this planet. You know what I mean? Birds, they sing little songs. You know, they do little tweets. You know, it's a part of being human. And if you have a musical soul, you know, this is your calling. You know, and I think you just got to keep doing it. But obviously, instead of trying to stamp it out, like, listen, man, I've been there where I've tried to stamp it out, you know, and all I found was I just felt like when I said I was like, I'm just going to do my video and I'm not going to do music anymore, like, I just felt like I was wandering around in some sort of weird abyss dream, you know, just not knowing what I'm doing, you know, just kind of like, it's almost like you're just on some sort of weird dark road. But when you get back to doing the music, it just feels like you're at home. It feels like you're present. It feels like you're alive, you know? And that's not even doing just the music itself, but it's just knowing that it's a part of your life, you know, you're doing something adjacent to it, but just knowing that you're walking that road, and it's, you know, you like to think about it, and knowing it's a part of your life is what keeps you alive, you know, in your soul, you know, and that's as a musician. Obviously that's not for everyone, but that is for you as a musician. And, you know, it's a tough road to walk to some extent, but you gotta keep going, man. You know, forget the outcome, do it for you, for your soul, you know, because you keep building yourself, and because you love it, you know, it makes you feel alive, and that's the most important thing. I mean, what are you gonna do if you don't do music at all, you know? And I do understand, obviously, some people are in less privileged situations, some people feel like they have no time whatsoever. But even an hour a week, 2 hours a week, I mean, anyone can do that, let's be honest. Anyone can do 2 hours a week of music. And just put it in your little head. You know, maybe you want to use it as a way just to kind of build an online community. You know, you can put your little piano pieces or beats, whatever, that maybe no one cares about. I don't know. Or maybe 2 people care about it. Or maybe you just do music just for yourself. And obviously there's people out there who claim that's the case. And man, I'm jealous. Like, I wish I could do just music just for myself. But I don't know. I don't think that's possible. Honestly, like I've made a video about this before, you know, and I think music ultimately is a kind of it's a gift. You know, it's kind of, you channel it in a way, you know. And to give you an analogy, think about like at Christmas time, you know, you get a Monopoly board as a present. You open it, you can look at it, it's cool, you know, you can look at all the little pictures and the dog and the hat and, you know, the money and the instructions and everything, and just admire the board. But in the end, you're going to want to play that with some people. And that's what I feel music is like, you know. You can keep it to yourself if you like, and honestly, if it's just for you, that's amazing, honestly. But I think for most of us, we do it because it is a form of kind of forming kinship and build and contributing to community. So find what way you can do that. You know, I think for me in this channel, I'm gonna start uploading my own tracks on here, which are just like my kind of artistic vision. Nothing to do with trying to get into games or films, whatever. These are just my artistic vision, and I'll be doing put up some shorts of just in the studio, doing my thing, and even with that, it's just like maybe some of it will get barely any views or interactions, and it doesn't matter because at the end of the day, I could film. Okay, look, I'm in a studio. Here's how I layer my strings, in the track. One person might see that and be like, wow, that's how he did it, or that's changed my perception of how I should do that. And every little thing, you don't know what could be influencing others. The tiniest little thing you do can have a knock-on effect in a positive way. Even me just doing this video here, you might watch this and you might take it away. You might take one little thing from this video that I've said, and you might take that and you might think, damn, like maybe I should do that, or maybe I see what he means by that. So, and listen, I'm not trying to be an influencer or anything. I'm just trying to, speak my truth and just express myself, especially in pertaining to music, because it makes me feel good. Yeah, and that's what it's about, man, just feeling good. So don't deny yourself, man. Don't deny yourself. Do the music. Even if no one hears it, no one cares, just do it, because eventually someone will hear it, even if it's just 2 people, 3 people, or 10 people who genuinely love your music, kind of gravitate towards you, then that's amazing. I mean, come on, like how often do you really get that in life when people can really be that fixated on your art? I mean, there's a lot of people out there who are just struggling just to get one person to listen to their tracks, but like I say, it's not about the outcome though. You know what I mean? It's a lovely thing if loads of people get interested in your work, but it's about the journey. Like, you have to do it. This is who you are. Stop denying yourself. Yeah. I'll give you one last analogy, and this was pertaining to doing therapy, and therapy has been a very good net outcome overall, but it made me go down some little rabbit holes in my own head. And I was thinking about when I got into production when I was 14, I started thinking recently, like, did I do it because it gave me some sort of like recognition and acceptance, and that kind of gave me dopamine, and then couple that with the technology, like the computer, was it kind of like, was I almost conditioned, like not conditioned, but like, was it kind of a social engineering where I was made to kind of just become addicted to making music with this computer? And I realized, man, fuck all that. At the end of the day, maybe it is all social engineering. Maybe we've all been stuck on these computers by design and whatnot, and I'm talking from a music producer standpoint, yeah. But it doesn't matter, because at the end of the day, if you're still doing it, if you're still thinking about it, then it's a part of you, man. It's a part of you. It doesn't matter really about the technology as such, but if you keep having the calling of music in you, you have to express it in whatever way is best for you. And right now, obviously I love doing stuff on the computer, but I think I'm going to try and reach out to more like live musicians, and in the future, especially now with all the AI stuff, I think now is more an important time than ever to collaborate with others, because now I do honestly believe they are trying to make a society where everyone is just completely atomized, especially with this AI stuff. You've got people who know nothing about music, just generating prompts, just making tracks, and in my eyes, it's all just to further the whole kind of atomization of man, And really, if anything, you should take lemons and make lemonade, and look at this as a time to really actually double down on what you do, put yourself out there, put your face out there, man. Tell people who you are. Do your music. Show who you are. People like to see people, you know. Collaborate with other people. In real life even, you know. Get out there, man. And remember, it's not about the outcome, you know. And if anything, most of my successes, or like my kind of real successes in music, were when I loved the music, I was doing the music and I was just putting it out there. And real people who saw it for what it was came to me, they signed my tracks and whatnot. It was only really when I started kind of thinking about, oh, like, you know, popularity or money, that's when it was always just a weird road. But if you're doing it because you truly love it and you're truly in your element, something's going to come out of that, you know, and it might be in a way you don't expect, but something's going to come out of it, and it's going to add a positive thing to your life, you know, as long as you also have a kind of a positive mindset and you try and live with clean actions and whatnot, you know, like stay away from drugs and alcohol and all that stuff. Yeah, I mean, I don't do any of that. Don't drink, no nothing. And to be honest, that's probably why I think about this, you know, a lot more, because I know some people who do probably drink and who have a musical spirit can maybe deny it a bit because their mind is clouded and they think, oh yeah, I don't need to think about, you know, music and whatnot. But especially if you're a sober kind of person, then yeah, if you do hear the calling of music, you need to answer it, man. So just stop denying yourself and answer that call, yeah? All right? I mean, you're fucked either way, yeah? So, you know, that's really the situation if you're a musician. You're fucked either way. So you might as well just do it, man, and love it, yeah? All right, anyway, and now time for the commercial break, yeah. If you wanna subscribe or like or comment on this video, I would love it. I mean, you know, please just help me get to 1,000 subscribers, man. I've been doing this for like 20 years. I've been doing YouTube for so long on so many different channels trying to get to 1,000 subs. I was even here back in the day when you actually got monetized, even before 1,000, you'd actually get paid, like, even if you had like 300 subscribers. And so shout out to the OGs who know about that one, yeah. Man, that was a while ago, but yeah. Yeah, if you like the channel, if you like what I'm doing, obviously please subscribe, like, comment and all that, and that would be absolutely lovely. Yeah, because I would like to take this channel somewhere, to be fair. I'm not going to lie, I would like it to go somewhere, but obviously if it doesn't, that's not the end of the world either. I mean, doing these videos is nice. You know, it's a nice feeling just getting my thoughts out there to all my fellow musicians and creatives, yeah? So yeah, I'm going to sign out. Aleks Ozols out of here, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.